Chat, here we go. We got ourselves a nice 1v1 here, courtesy of ProDrops and Johnny Boy. We got AJ versus Chronic in the ProDrops North American 1v1 Invitational. I'm not sure what the exact name of the tournament is. The point is, it's a North American tournament. It's sponsored by ProDrops, and Johnny Boy is the one running it. But we have got two of the quarterfinals here today, the first of which is AJ and Chronic. AJ and Chronic, the top 8 North American 1v1ers were invited to this tournament to play. And this is the 4 and 5 seed. So which one's the 4 seed, which one's the 5 seed, doesn't really matter. Either way, they're going to be playing against each other. But this is the juiciest game of the first round according to the seeding. And I do think AJ is slightly favored. If you forced me to pick a number 4 seed, I do think it's AJ. I think historically he's played a bit better in 1v1 despite how well Chronic has been playing. And both these guys have been playing amazing in 3v3. Gen G and Optic playing well. Of course, Gen G and Chronic maybe doing just a bit better than Optic did. But still, AJ known to be playing well alongside his Optic team. He's going to take a demo for a second goal. In the Fennec today, I'm not sure that I watch AJ play a ton of Fennec. For the most part, I feel like I recognize him in an Octane. Chronic is going to try and control this ball off of the complete disregard of the kickoff that AJ takes here. Chronic still searching for his first bit of offense, and if a mistake not picking up that back corner boost, as that might have been able to enable him to stay on the ball. But now AJ starting an air dribble. As soon as he gets Chronic to back off, he tries to take it back down to the ground, but Chronic never really gave him a ton of space. So he was able to intercept. AJ's going to undercut and will still get his third goal. AJ dicing Chronic up. He got a demo goal. The previous one, this time he bumps Chronic to the midfield and then cuts underneath him to prevent the recovery. It'll be a 3-0 lead for AJ. There are games going on at the same time on Johnny Boy's stream today. Johnny Boy _I, if you've never seen his stream before, which I have a feeling the majority of you here probably have. But right now he has Jack and KV1. Jack and KV1 is a quarterfinal that he's got going on right now. So make sure you check him out as well. Virgil, thank you for the tier 1 for 11 months. Tournaments are POG indeed. Chronic, wave dash kickoff. Gonna get him a second. Took him quite a few minutes here, or at least a minute and a half to show some signs of life, but 2 goals in a row. He's right back in this 1v1. These two swap kickoffs with each other. AJ tries to go wave dash, Chronic goes standard, and AJ flies way too high up off the single jump and has to wait ages to come down to wave dash, so Chronic will just gain control of the ball. And I mean, AJ, I don't know if he just didn't expect Chronic to stay on top of that, because that touch to the back wall is one that normally gets cleaned up pretty easily. Even with a late recovery like AJ's, he probably could take it off the back wall and start a possession. But because of that, I think AJ was expecting Chronic to just not dive, to just leave and let him take it to the ground, but that was not the case. Chronic playing aggressive, and this wave dash shot gets him a 4th as AJ gets distracted by the big 100 boost at the midfield. Chronic wave dash kickoff. Single jump still way too high to really make it very effective. So now it'll be the first wall to air dribble in the AJ versus Chronic matchup. I think we're going to see a lot of these. In fact, Chronic's going to hit us right back after AJ failed pretty miserably. Normally AJ won to put a solid attack on from a wall to air dribble almost every single time. So I feel comfortable saying that that was one of AJ's worst attempts, because he's normally very, very good at them. Chronic trying to go all the way on the back wall. Cannot take this. It'll be a bounce to air dribble this time. AJ going to go for the bump. To come tournament time, there is no cringe, if you ask AJ. But it doesn't matter. Chronic's still able to get around it. The bump was attempted really far away from the net, which is a bit unorthodox, but when AJ saw Chronic pre-jump, he decided there was no better way. Chronic now at 5-3. This is 5 straight goals, right? I want to say AJ went up 3-0. So since then, a 5-goal swing to Chronic, as he has seemed to figure out AJ. A lot of it has come from counterattacks and from good kickoff scenarios that he just handled better than AJ did. AJ, another wall to air dribble. Gets the reset and is a little bit too underneath the ball, a little bit too ahead of it, to the point where he can't use that reset to make any serious outplay, and is forced to take it into the ground. This time, he dribbles up into the ceiling with really no plan of attack. He has to come off the wall to catch this one, and this is a really good low 50. Should result in the 4th goal. AJ back into the scoring after a couple-minute drought here. Recognizes that the air dribble game had not been working for him, so instead he lets the ball come to the ground and wins a nice 50. Chronic delay kickoff. You love it. It's a great counter to the wave dash. I don't know if he was expecting AJ to wave dash, but AJ had been adding the wave dash kickoff. It was a standard kickoff. It just worked beautifully against that as well. Is this going on ball chasing? I'm not sure. If Johnny specifically asked me to upload the replays to ball chasing, then I'll put them up there, but I think that decision's up to Johnny. Ooh, what a save. Chronic just barely able to save that reset. And it goes slamming off the post instead, which means a goal for Chronic. 7-1. It's been a 7-1 run since the beginning scoring from AJ. He's going to watch this replay for whatever reason. Maybe getting a sip of water. Maybe trying to reset his mental. A mini timeout sometimes when you watch the entire replay. AJ, possession off kickoff. Tried to put a strong enough flick on net such that Chronic would not be able to win the race to the corner boost, but Chronic did win it with relative ease. And the fact that AJ didn't recognize that actually is the reason why he ends up getting scored on. He might have been able to get back if he had just rushed right back to his net, but he tried to beat Chronic there, and when he lost, he was now undercut, and the recovery is going to be that much harder. Chronic just gave him a free one, though. AJ did not have to work for this goal. Just a carry up the side wall. Even if Chronic did connect with it, AJ was hoping to just 50 him anyways, so incredibly low risk for him, and before he knew it, he had a free open net. Ooh, that's a great pop. I like this shot from AJ. Chronic's going to even give him the nice one. He chips it up onto the wall, and then the quick wave dash and jump off is able to launch the ball out past Chronic, who is creeping up. The sidewall is such a hard place to challenge from in 1v1, in all of Rocket League, but especially 1v1 with no help behind you. And if you as an offender can find a way to punish them for going there, you need to try to do so. Normally it's easy on those high challenges, but AJ found a way to do it low. Chronic, big miss of a flick, and AJ is bringing himself right back into this game. The momentum has swung to AJ as he flicks over the top of the patient shadow defense from Chronic, and then Chronic panics, thinking he needs to jump to get the save, and it ends up putting him out of position for the follow-up. 30 seconds left to go. Chronic wall to air dribble. Great reset. Pulls off the ball the same way he got it. Not often do you see people doing that, but AJ gets the save, and now trying his best to find a way into Chronic's net in the final moments. Chronic has always been one to not back down no matter what the scoreline is, no matter how much time's on the clock. He is still going to go for his air dribbles because he feels confident in them. AJ right now, his dribble fakes and then low 50s. Deciding not to try and go for a reset or not to try and go for a bump of any kind. He thought maybe he could just get Chronic to miss, and he was wrong. So it'll be Chronic in game number 1 with an 8-7 lead. Lots of swings, but he'll be up in the series first. Game number 2. AJ and Chronic so far has been the equal matchup that we expected out of these middle seeds. But what it hasn't been, and something that probably everyone watching was expecting, is it hasn't been a crazy aerial battle. Normally, both these guys, when playing against other opponents, are known for their incredible aerial mechanics, their wall-to-air dribbles off kickoffs, their dribbles off of basically any sort of setup. That's not been the difference here. It's been the ground game and the kickoffs. Wow, AJ really should have scored from that. He got Chronic to miss, but he just took a sweet time in getting the shot, and Chronic recovered. Credits to Chronic's recovery. But I really do feel like if AJ just played that correctly, there was no recovery in the game that would have been able to save it. AJ now trying to keep Chronic pinned in net. And oh my goodness, Chronic a little bit too patient with his save. He wanted to control the save and not just send it right back to AJ, so he waits until the final moment and he ends up just flicking it directly into the crossbar, and it drops in for the first goal. Chronic can't chase down AJ. He's able to grab the midfield boost. One of the first solid attacks from the air from either one of these guys, but Chronic saves it. And actually, Chronic had a good save on a previous aerial attack from AJ. The defense from him has been the answer so far for AJ's normal method of attack. Right now, AJ doing his best to try and gain control of the dribble without any boost, but ultimately recognizes he does have to go back to midfield. AJ making that power slide cut save on the goal line is the reason why he's now in control. Making sure not to just launch it into Chronic's direction. All right, did he find the angle? He did. There's his first. AJ really wanted to gain possession, even though he had 0 boost. After the outplay on his half, he got to launch it away. You'll see a lot of players launch the ball away on 0 boost, use that as an opportunity to grab 100 and then prepare for the next attack. AJ didn't want to do that. He wanted to chase the ball down, and that ended up being the reason why he was unable to stay control. There's the normal AJ that we expect to see. He will be the first to slot a crispy reset, as Chronic trying to decide if he's going to defend from the back wall or the ground. I think it is the right decision to defend from the ground, the way AJ's been faking them and low 50ing them. It is much easier to make those saves from the ground, but now he knows that AJ will also be slotting them high when he can. It's another wall to air dribble for AJ. Chronic going to come and challenge from the ceiling. He pre-jumped it, and AJ tried to punish him for the pre-jump. As soon as Chronic is making the incredibly risky falling challenge, AJ decides to basically just punish him. He hopes that Chronic is not going to be able to get all the way to the ball, and he can safely put in a low 50. But Chronic did get there, so credit to him. Still think it's probably the right decision for AJ, because it's absolutely no risk. Even if Chronic does get to the ball, it should still be an AJ possession. He's just going to have to try again. Right now with a lead. No reason not to play 100%. Chronic getting undercut again. AJ's been looking to undercut Chronic left and right. Chronic stole that boost. AJ tried to get there. At the very least, he didn't get himself demoed by jumping, but Chronic will 50 this in. Gets the reset and uses that to finish the play. AJ thought he had the read as Chronic used the reset, but ended up tapping it right back into him. Chronic bumped into the midfield boost. Really tight angle to try and score here. He's not going to do so from the air. Tries to catch and cut it to the far post, but one of the downsides of making an across the net type shot like that, when AJ is shadowed correctly, he's going to be able to launch it into his own corner with speed and then can chase it down for a goal of his own. Whereas if Chronic had maybe tried to go near post, there's a chance that AJ has to save it with a backflip or something very slow. And even though AJ's definitely going to save it, it would still be a Chronic possession. So Chronic getting a little bit aggressive in the attempt to score at risk, but now down 1 because of it. Minute 30 left to go. AJ deciding he's not going to be able to double in that ball, which of course he was correct about. My tiny brain didn't know it was for sure going to roll up the back wall, but AJ definitely did. AJ trying to use wall dashes right now to stay relevant in this play despite having all of his boosts stolen. He just had 100 spawn underneath him. And now it is Chronic at the deficit. He's going to leave this ball back to the midfield. AJ might be able to bait Chronic into making a poor challenge, as we are under the minute mark with the slight lead in AJ's favor. The scoreline has been so much lower here between these two in game number 2. A lot of that has to do with the kickoffs being cleaned up quite a bit. AJ was hoping for more power. I think he was hoping for a clean power shot, but instead it went low. Chronic aerial attack Lands and cannot squeeze it past AJ, who is able to cover low. And that far post. This is a super aggressive bump attempt. AJ recognizing that. Just wave dashes the ball back to the corner as an attempt to hold on to possession. He doesn't want to go all in on a obviously poor attempt. AJ long shot. Chronic really no choice but to be this aggressive. He actually missed, but it's not going to matter. 4-2. Chronic has 6 seconds to get a couple, otherwise AJ is tying up the series. And I am hard-pressed to believe that AJ would choke this hard. I do think it's upon AJ to make sure that doesn't happen, and he did so. So it'll be a tie series. A best of 3 will decide who moves on in this ProDrops North American 1v1. Game 3. A defensive battle and cleaned up kickoffs was the story of game number 2. What will be the story here? AJ didn't get the reset the first time, so decides to go back for it. Does end up getting it. Chronic is going to match him in the Fennec as he tries to channel the special 1v1 powers that do exist inside the Fennec, which anybody who has watched 1v1 knows to be true. Especially Chronic's teammate knows the Fennec to have special powers, as Jack has been back in the Fennec recently. Chronic cannot dive and demo AJ, but the demo attempt does give him the opportunity to steal the boost and hopefully extend his attack. AJ, nice read. Chronic trying to pre-flip into his angle, but now finally Chronic's gonna be able to connect on that demo he's been searching for all series long. I feel like he hasn't been able to connect with him, and it's actually a great tap. Good read of where AJ respawned and placement in net. I do think there's a chance that AJ gets the save. If Chronic maybe tries to put it dead center of the net, that's, yeah, AJ definitely going to get there. He needed to put it just inside the near post if he wanted to score it. And that's exactly what he did. Wave dash kickoff match from both these guys. AJ in front of Chronic, actually probably worse off for him. Makes him a very easy target for the bump. And this is a great pre-jump, or I mean, don't necessarily mean great, but a very, what's that quote about, you know, great things not necessarily being good? I think it's from like Harry Potter or something. Anyways, the point is, it was great in that sense. Very ambitious, but almost got punished for it. AJ now full field dribble. Chronic pre-jump. You see AJ trying to pull off right as he sees that pre-jump. Hoping to 50 Chronic as he approaches the ball, but it's not what ended up happening. And now AJ going to shoot off the post as these two fight for boost at the midfield. It's going to go to AJ. He is down 1 in yet another defensive battle, and AJ just going to feels backflip out of nowhere. It's so unlike him to make these kind of mistakes in these games. He's such a cool cucumber normally. This demo will get him his first goal, so it'll be traded demos. These guys too good at defending their nets. The only shots going in are the ones when the defender is deleted. AJ wins this kickoff. Clean catch and a flick before Chronic can get back to the play. And we get a second goal for AJ. All these goals so crucial with how low scoring it's been. We've yet to see a ton of aerial attacks from Chronic. This time he's going to go ceiling reset, and he actually slots it bottom left. AJ had all the time in the world to prep for this save, and the way this series has been going, I expected a save to come. But Chronic gets a ton of movement and actually puts it low, which is a bit harder to save, as AJ on the back wall is already so far up. Probably be able to save something around top shelf height easier, but Chronic sees where the defender is and puts the ball where he isn't. Ball to air dribble from AJ. He always seems to use that flip off the wall to give the ball some acceleration as part of the catch. Chronic looking to clear this into the other corner. AJ had it. I mean, he had to have known that Chronic was going to try and demo him. Maybe AJ's plan was to jump, but he just didn't jump fast enough because, I mean, it's so obvious that Chronic is coming to get him. But I think AJ even hit the brakes there. Am I crazy? Because he could have turned to the right and stayed boosting. But I almost feel like he slowed down, which is truly insane behavior considering Chronic was literally right behind him. AJ now trying to get a safe dribble. Maybe into an air dribble bump. But challenged before he can do so. And now bumped onto his back wall. Chronic is going to extend it. Make it 4-2. Yo, give me the crumbs. Thank you for 5 gifted subs. If you just got a gifted sub from Give Me the Crumbs, make sure to thank them. Chronic. Wow, what a jump. He's going to say trying his best not to be a loser in this kickoff after AJ was able to win it towards his half and grab boost, but somehow Chronic escaped. Part of that had to do with a really well-timed jump, assuming that AJ was going to come to demo him. Now he's got it all the way back past the midfield line. Not the best of starts from the dribble from AJ, but it actually ends up working out in baiting Chronic into challenging him because he put so much separation on this. Chronic says, oh, I can get to this before AJ gets back down to the ground and back up. The window is open, but he was wrong. AJ too fast. Still a Chronic lead, though. AJ flipping underneath this ball. Tried to connect with Chronic towards the latter half of that, but wasn't able to. Chronic has been steadfast in defense. Nice bump on AJ. Otherwise, been in very big trouble, but Chronic had changed his sights from ball to car.
Seeing AJ in his win. Huge fan Feer. Hope to meet you one day.
AJ carrying this ball, air dribble bump, almost definitely, he does it. Chat, you gotta cringe at him. Chronic's gonna throw in the nice one. That is so very unlike Chronic. I feel like he's not normally nice winning air dribble bumps, but hey. Yo, turn down. Thank you for the tier 1 for 4 months. Seek AJ in the Fennec is whack. Yeah, both these guys in the Fennec is not very often. I hope we meet one day as well. Turn down. Thank you for the 4 months. AJ in the crucial moments. Faking the air dribble. Chronic does pre-jump it. Now he's going to have to defend from a much more awkward spot, but AJ connects with him, and Chronic still gets the save. If he can rush an air dribble attack the other way, it's going to be tough for AJ, and he can't quite do it. AJ does recover. 15 seconds. Chronic with a possession. AJ actually has a shot attempt now. He fakes it at first and then wave dashes it, and he's got his goal. AJ, look at him move. So important to mix up the attack like this. The single jump is what Chronic was expecting at first. The wave dash comes at a much better time. And Chronic cannot get that one out of net. 5, 4, 7 seconds. AJ stealing this one back. And crucial moments. Delay kickoff from Chronic. He cheesed that one and got himself a goal in the previous game. He's not going to be able to do it this time. AJ kills the bounce, rolls it. Gives himself a 2-1 lead as we head to game number 4. AJ and Chronic. I believe Chronic got game 1, right? But 2 straight for AJ now. AJ has been able to reduce the scoring, take the lead in the process. We got Chronic in the Dominus. Those of you who watched Chronic a long time ago know that this actually isn't that absurd. Chronic used to play a ton of 1v1 in Dominus. In fact, he always seemed to look best when he switched to it. But we'll see if it works here today against AJ. Cannot pre-flip back to this play. AJ undercuts him, finishes it off. Chronic putting himself in front of AJ's recovery so that he gets bumped into the ball, gets to keep possession. What is going on for AJ? Chronic giving one for free. I think this was maybe a missed wave dash of some sort. Fortunately for AJ, we are going to watch it. Oh yeah, he did not land it. Or he's going for some insane challenge. A nice 180 twist off the wave dash to hit the ball and prep to recover, but I don't think that was intentional. Chronic, really poor first touch. Cannot turn it into a shot like I'm sure he would have liked to, but AJ just gave him a free net. Not sure what he was hoping for there. Little boost steal while Chronic just drops the ball to himself and launches an 89km/h power shot. AJ fakes the kickoff, or doesn't even go to the kickoff, I should say, because I don't even think it was a fake. Chronic was hoping to punish him by just chipping directly at net. He learned his lesson there. I don't think we're going to see that from him again. Last time AJ did it, Chronic carried a dribble and then flicked it, which also didn't work well, but I think is still better than slamming a power shot dead center on net. You have to put your power shot in a perfect corner if you want to prevent that defender from either getting the save, even though usually they will. If they do it right, they're probably going to get the save. But you at least stop them from counterattacking immediately. AJ wall to air dribble, has the reset, just watching Chronic and tried to wave dash to slot it bottom right as Chronic comes up to challenge. But Chronic is able to keep that out, and that is great coverage of so many different options from both these guys. Who knew that the storyline of AJ versus Chronic wasn't going to be the amazing wall to air dribble offense, but actually the amazing wall to air dribble defense. These guys have done such a good job of canceling each other out in a way that I did not expect. I thought it was going to be a back and forth offensive powerhouse. Oh my goodness, Chronic, what a save! AJ didn't think he even had to worry. He stopped moving. He's going to camp here and get the corner boost. He'll take to the skies again, grabs his reset, but the way Chronic's been defending it, I almost expect him to save this one. But AJ is able to score. AJ did a good job of keeping this dribble far away from the back wall. All that comes as part of the setup. Keeps your angle much easier to score, and also makes it so that Chronic has to cover a lot of distance as he tries to make the save, which this time was finally too much. Oh no, AJ didn't capitalize on his free opportunity. Now AJ, immediate dribble. Chronic pre-jumps and attacks with speed. AJ is always going to slow down and just look for a 50 once he sees that. It's going to be really, really hard for Chronic to get away with that kind of challenge. He's either going to have to... I feel like he almost adjusted it to a speedy challenge after he pre-jumped. If you're going for the ball, it's got to be the plan all along. You got to have a ton of speed going into it and surprise them before they even really get started. Or if you're going to pre-jump and wait, you have to pretty much just go back down to the ground as soon as the other player slows down their dribble. 4-3, AJ with the lead. On the verge of closing out this quarterfinal against Chronic. Chronic wall to air dribble. This is a great first touch for the setup. He gets his reset and he tries to slide it bottom left, and he does! Great placement. These guys have been placing well all night. But this time, it doesn't get any better as Chronic rolls it and it slides up the post to tie the game. Chronic's going to have AJ chasing him down here in the corner. He evades him by going high to the top of the arena. Can he go the full field? He can. But he shoots it what would be just a slight bounce away from the net. So AJ able to clean it up with relative ease. And Chronic has been pre-jumping all of AJ's dribbles. It has stopped AJ from continuing them high, but he has been able to find a way to score eventually in most of them. This time he says, no way. As that trend finally ends, Chronic undercuts him as he tries to wave dash back to the ball, and I imagine that's the specific part that AJ was commenting no way on. Chronic now with the lead. Another poor first touch. He is the player that can bring it back, though, and he's always going to try to as well, when maybe he shouldn't. AJ able to take it from him and tap in a fifth. Chronic with a one kickoff. A wall to air dribble. AJ, he actually tried to challenge so early. He thought for sure Chronic was going to come to the ground. Watching it from Chronic's perspective, it was insane that AJ moved this close underneath the ball. But the way these guys have been attacking each other, AJ was just so sure that Chronic would take it to the ground And that's where he could be intercepted, but Chronic stays high, has a 6th goal, this time at ceiling height. AJ knows Chronic could go high. He tried to slot it far post, but he needed to just hold on to possession. It was a cheeky play to bail on the air dribble and catch and look for the net, but he needed to recognize that it just wasn't possible. He had to catch and just keep possession, grab the other corner boost, and maybe stay with a second attack. Instead, he lets AJ tie up the game. I do like this delay kickoff from Chronic. It's worked pretty much every time he's done it. And he's got himself a ton of open field right now. AJ's super deep fake challenge. Can Chronic get that Dominus flick over the top of him? Not quite. Certainly not the kind of power that you get extra from those flat cars. Chronic now looking for a way to score this one, and almost did so as he slams it off of the top corner post. And it's coming down to the wire here in this game number 4. Very much feels like a next goal win situation. Biggie Smalls, thank you for the tier 1 for 15 months. Long time. Chronic once again going to try and find a way to score an air dribble with a really poor setup. One that he's going to have to take for the midfield all the way back to the net somehow. Even though he doesn't score, he does keep possession. He's going to have another chance. First touch is a bit short. He's going to have to push the ball all the way to net, which he never had a problem doing. And in the final moments, he'll get a 7th goal. Chronic is almost intentionally playing this harder than it needs to be by all these first touch setups that could be so much better, but he is the best in the biz when it comes to taking any sort of setup and turning it into a shot. He does so again here. In fact, that straight up setup might have done well to bait AJ into thinking he could challenge that. We saw that slight jump. AJ needs to keep this up. He actually has kept it on the side wall, but there's almost no way that he gets back to this one. So Chronic is going to send it to game 5. This is your 4-5 matchup in seed, and that's how you know we're getting a game 5. Game number 5, AJ and Chronic. Winner moves on in the ProDrops North American 1v1 tournament. It is a double elimination, 2 single elimination bracket. So we didn't talk about the format too much, but once we get down to 4 people, I think 2 through, or maybe 1, I forget exactly how it gets to 4. But the point is, it's double elim until single elim for the top 4. You guys can check the exclamation point bracket. You don't need me to tell you. So neither one of these guys on their last life here is really the only point I mean to make with this one. And even though Chronic won in the Dominus, he didn't feel good about it. He's back in the Octane for game 5. And he'll take this dribble off the bounce. The slot does not go in. AJ able to cover it. And Chronic actually just helped AJ counter. Nice land, recovery, and demo before AJ could get the shot. And it actually a goal for Chronic when it was on the verge of going the other way. That was quick. Hope he washed his hands. I'm sure he did. Least toxic player. Thank you for the prime. The brand new prime as well. Always nice to have non-toxic people in stream. Chronic wins a 50 and turns it in for a goal at the midfield. AJ thought about turning. I mean, that's all it takes. He lands. If he lands and goes back to net, he's good. But he thinks for a moment, maybe I should pressure the ball. Maybe I should prevent Chronic from being able to take it back down to the ground. But that was never the plan for Chronic. And AJ, a mistouch again. Going to make it 3-0, digging himself a bit of a hole at the start of this game 5. Yo, Birchfield Effect. Thank you for the prime. Another brand new prime. These two will match each other with wave dash kickoffs. I think Chronic has had the edge when both these guys have gone wave dash in the past. But man, AJ, he just can't find anything right now. The recovery almost made up for it, but it's still going to go in. We see AJ grab this boost, and he just thought Chronic was going to be there faster or something, so he panicked backflipped. I feel like if he just played the ball and worried less about what Chronic was going to do, he'd be much better off. Now we're going to have to see some of that crazy offense that AJ is known for the rest of this game. He doesn't want to go down early. This flick is saved, and Chronic is actually going to make it a goal as well. 5-0. Oh my god. I mean, neither one of these guys has had this kind of domination in any of the games. Chronic must have been right to switch back to that Octane. Wave dash kickoff again for Chronic. But AJ gets a clean win, and he's got his wall to air dribble. I feel like there's a lot on the line with this one. Chronic able to fall from the ceiling and 50 it. AJ doesn't have an angle. And this possession is, not quite over. AJ, the demo, should be able to finish it off. He needed to score on that possession. I know it's tons of time, but if he wasn't able to turn some kind of goal out of that play, I think he was going to have a really tough time for the rest of the game. But he does score in the final last-ditch attempt. He gets the demo, keeps the possession alive, and puts one on the board. Chronic's bump's going to prevent him from getting a clean start to this kickoff win. AJ just going to put a safe flick on net. Use it to steal boost, but can it keep Chronic pinned? No, Chronic is going to escape pretty quickly. The demo will reset AJ once again. What is he going to go to when he has all the time in the world? I don't think that was the best setup. He wave dashes far away from the net and gets the ball supersonic to the point where he can't control it anymore. And ends up getting really nothing out of that play at all. Hopefully better on this attempt as he takes the ball down for a carry. Looks to flick top left. Chronic, once again, is doing such a good job of clearing out of the orange half after every shot attempt. And look at this one. 6-1 for Chronic as he takes a wall to air dribble from the corner and wave dashes it into the net as AJ creeps up the side wall. AJ gonna need a huge rush of offense in the last parts of this game. He needed just a single pad. If he already had a pad or somehow 12 left over, he would have scored there. But he needed the pad to extend it just a little bit so that he could shoot a long shot. Just didn't have it. Chronic is going to escape the AJ pressure and make it 7-1. A minute 45. The desperation has not led to any offense from AJ. It's led to the exact opposite. Chronic has been able to extend it even more. Wall to air dribble for AJ. Another one of those things where I feel like he has to score, and that setup is not going to cut it. That setup's not going to cut it either. Nothing seems to be going his way. Give me the crumbs with 1,000 bits for the Brazil. Chronic resets over the top of the early challenge, and I feel like the players know. Yo, this is the side swipe shot. I feel like this shot should be called the side swipe shot. When you jump on the ball and you almost like use the jump to shoot it. I mean, obviously that's not how it works in Rocket League, but I feel like in side swipe you can do that. AJ, wave dash underneath Chronic. It would take quite the miracle for AJ to come back, but maybe as he starts getting loosey-goosey. Yeah, this doesn't surprise me too much. The game's over. The series is over, most likely. And so AJ, maybe with a bit of pressure off, is back to the AJ you're normally used to seeing in these 1v1s, which is absolutely insane in the air. Pretty much undefendable shot. That kind of movement is almost impossible. I mean, Chronic did a good job saving the good ones earlier, but I don't know. Not even Chronic could stop that one. AJ might have another good opportunity here. He's got 5 left to get in 57 seconds. Going to take a decent choke job on the kickoffs from Chronic for sure to let AJ back. Although AJ does have yet another possession. He's going to try and catch the dribble with a reset, and I don't think he did. Because something tells me he probably would have tried to use it to keep Chronic from taking it away. AJ needs the 100 here, so his setup's going to be awkward. And now there's no more angle to shoot. Chronic, he did it. Taking out what you could argue was an upset in this tight matchup. Looking for a nice reset musty. AJ won't let him do it. So it'll be AJ against, I forget, I don't know who he has in the losers. I don't know if he has the loser of the other game. It might have KV1. We'll have to see. KV1 or Appjack. These two will let it roll out. Chronic starts up in the semis. AJ has it of the life, but he's going to have to do it through the lowers.